On the phone, very special guest. We have the UFC heavyweight champion of the world, none other than Mr. Cain Velasquez, who just successfully defended his belt up against Bigfoot Silva. Now you're lined up for a rematch, rubber match, so to speak, against Junior Dos Santos. Now,
the
first
trilogy.
That's the trilogy. Now, we've talked to you quite a bit, so we're very comfortable with you. So we're going to ask you a bunch of rude questions. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, with the fights with you and Junior Dos Santos, the first time when you lost, we talked last time about David Camarillo had just left the AKA camp, and a lot of changes were happening. Did you say that your leg was injured going into that fight?
Yeah, just getting off that the shoulder surgery, you know.
That's right, the shoulder surgery. That's what it was.
One thing. Yeah, it had me out for about a whole year, and then kind of injured my knee in the beginning of training camp. So,
okay, and then JDS said when he lost the belt back to you. First, he said he wasn't in the right mental game, and then he came out later and said that he was also injured. So are you guys both like doing, what kind of preparations are you taking this time to ensure that you guys are 100% healthy coming into this rubber match?
We're just what we do every day, go in and train 100%. With that kind of stuff, you get hurt, you get hurt. You just don't think about it beforehand. You just go into practice, just do your thing, and if you get hurt, you do. But hey, come fight time, you just go out there and just try to fight. Whether if you're hurt or not, you don't let your opponent know it. But you just go out there and try to perform.
See, this is one of those times where, like, if they had the Star Trek regenerator thing, where they could just throw it on your bones and it would just heal everything. You gotta
do the Miyagi trick, man.
Do the Miyagi trick, yeah.
You gotta do the rub.
Or you just get bones from Star Trek. They just put it on there and boom, there you go, you're healed. It's like magic.
Awesome. Yeah, we definitely need something like that because we're always getting injured, in the sport. So something like that would definitely be a lifesaver.
Now, are you excited for this rubber match?
For sure. In the first one, him winning the first one. Me dominating the second one, the whole 5 rounds and everything else, doing the third kind of settle it. So,
this isn't
definitely excited.
This isn't going to turn into like the Andre Arlovsky, Tim Sylvia thing, is it? Because after the second and third one, nobody really wanted to see that anymore. You guys, I like watching, and I don't want it to end up like that. You already took it to him in that second fight where you landed, you set a UFC record, right? Where it was like the first time anybody's ever posted triple-digit significant strikes and double-digit takedowns?
Yeah. So with this, I just have to dominate him again, and end it here, so definitely.
A lot of different things happening in the heavyweight division, too. You had like Roy Nelson, and you also had Mark Hunt, who were making a big play at the belt, and then, Mark Hunt takes his loss.
First time ever getting knocked out.
That's his first time getting knocked out. Melvin Manhoef knocked him out. It's true. Melvin Manhoef knocked him out. And then you have Roy Nelson, who was on a tear, and then he loses to Stipe
Miocic.
Stipe Miocic. And so this being Roy Nelson's last fight on his contract when he went up against Stipe, do you think that the UFC is even going to keep him?
I think they might keep him. He's always exciting when he goes out and fights. I think his as far as his side negotiation wise, won't be so good, coming off a loss. But him, he's always up there as far as being competitive in the heavyweight division. So I think they'll keep him.
That's one of the things that kind of concerns me about the UFC seems to be a little frivolous with their cuts every once in a while, and they let go people. Like if they were to let go someone like Roy Nelson, who's a gamer and he has a fan base and he puts on a hell of a fight every time he goes on the mat, in the cage. If they were to let him go and he was to go to World Series of Fighting or to Bellator or something like that, then that would be I think that'd be a bad move by the UFC. I think it's important for them to keep him. Now, if there's anybody in the heavyweight division, since you've already fought Junior Dos Santos twice and you're about to fight him for a third time, is there anybody else in the heavyweight division that you would like to fight that you haven't fought yet?
No, I think just the number one contenders. That's the only guys I want to fight. So, Dos Santos being that, I'm going to fight him. And then, after that, whoever else comes next, that's the next on my list. So,
is there anyone in the heavyweight division you'd like to have a beer with that you haven't yet?
Yeah.
No, not really. Just my training partners, you know what I mean? That's it. As far as other heavyweights and stuff like that, I'm not really friends with anybody else. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess technically
Yeah,
you could
one
say
time we might have to fight.
you could say Daniel Cormier, right? He's training partner. He technically is in the heavyweight.
Yeah, I've had a couple of beers with him. I will say he is a lightweight. So.
Man, he went to OSU. He should know how to drink.
Man, now I want to have a beer with Cain Velasquez.
I said, didn't he go to OSU?
Yeah, that's where he went. He went to OSU.
Yeah, he did, man. But I mean, I went to Arizona.
You went to Arizona. That's a whole nother drinking game. I understand that.
Yeah.
He was a beer pong champ before he was a heavyweight champ. What you know about that? How do we get to have a beer with Cain Velasquez? That's what I want to do. I want a beer with Cain Velasquez.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that going to be one of the experiences at this fan expo that's coming up? I know you guys got this whole big UFC's got this whole big fight week where they do this every year around 4th of July, right? Where you get to go to Las Vegas and it's the fan expo and all that kind of stuff. Could we work something out where we could win a contest, have a beer with Cain Velasquez?
That would be kind of hard because I'm there all day doing the signings, like 6-hour days. So that for me is probably the most tiresome weekend that I do. There's a lot of fans there. I'm there all day trying to do signings. So I mean, afterwards I do need a beer, but it's trying to hard to.
Tell me this. What if I just creepily show up at AKA one day? Because I mean, it's right down the street from where we're at anyway. If I just creepily show up at AKA
with
one day and hang out with a 6-pack until you're done training, can we have a beer then?
Sounds good. I can do that.
Perfect.
If you're not arrested or beat down first.
I'll probably. Well, first off, I'll be publicly intoxicated and probably get frowned upon by the police.
Show up with an empty 6-pack. I was waiting all day for you.
So I got to ask you a couple of questions. First off, I'm on the AKA website right now. I went to go look at the lineup of fighters still affiliated with AKA gym because we were talking about how a lot of gyms rise and fall. I can say the meteoric rise. Like Goldberg always says, it seems like, since the days of Miletich, Miletich came up and went down, and a lot of gyms make a huge show in the UFC. And for a long time, AKA was a huge powerhouse in the UFC. And now when you go to the official AKA website, you look at the MMA fighters, and there's two. There's you and Daniel Cormier, and that's it. So is there any shuffling going on within the ranks? Are you guys recruiting any more fighters, or is this kind of the end of AKA as a powerhouse gym in the UFC?
I mean, we have, the guys that are coming up that aren't in the UFC yet, that are looking to get their shot. We have Josh Thompson, he just got off a great win. Luke Rocco. So, guys, that are winning, guys that just got off a loss or whatever else. But we're always just trying to get better. You know what I mean?
I hear that. I was just kind of surprised to see.
We're always staying together. So
I guess that's what surprises me is that guys like Josh Thompson and Luke Rockhold aren't listed under the fighters tab on the website. I don't know. Maybe that's a question for the webmaster as to why they've been excluded. The other question I have for you though is.
Definitely.
I got to ask this: when Matt Mitrione was on Ariel Helwani's podcast or on his webcast,
the MMA Hour,
the MMA Hour, he made some comments about Fallon Fox that were not
got himself in trouble, basically. And then Dana White said, "I don't even understand what he's doing on with Ariel Helwani. He doesn't even have a fight coming up. He shouldn't be giving interviews or anything like that." We are pretty far away from your next fight with. No offense, we love talking to you, Cain.
We do love talking to you, but I was trying to understand why. When Dana White was so adamant about, Matt Mitrione giving an interview when he didn't have a fight coming up, and then all of a sudden we get this awesome opportunity to talk to Cain Velasquez, but your fight's not coming up for quite a while. Is there some kind of change in policy, or is it just because you're the heavyweight champ and you can do whatever the hell you want?
I think it's because of the question that they asked him and the way he went about answering it. I think that kind of puts a lot of people off.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I can completely see that. It was Dana White's statement of he shouldn't be giving interviews if he doesn't have an immediate fight coming up.
Right.
And then all of a sudden we get the opportunity to talk to you. I know the Fan Expo is next week. I mean, I can only assume that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering if you had an answer for that or not. But no big deal, man. I mean, who are you picking in the fights next week?
I think Anderson Silva's going to win. You know what I mean? He's really, really tough. Over however many years he's been on top. I just don't see anybody coming in and taking that. But I mean, then again, anything can happen. But I'm kind of going for Silva in this one.
Nice. All right. So, what do you think? Did you know who stole GSP's car? Did we figure that out yet?
What was that?
Do we know who stole GSP's car?
somebody stole his car?
Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't hear about that, man.
Yeah, George St. Pierre got his car stolen. He tweeted it, or at least someone who runs his Twitter account tweeted that he got his car stolen. And he wishes he would have caught him.
Why? What kind of car is it?
Probably his Land Rover, but I don't know. They didn't have any specifics.
It just makes me laugh because nobody's stealing your car. Nobody's stealing John Jones's car. Nobody's messing with Anderson Silva's car, and it's in Brazil. But they decide to steal GSP's car.
In Canada.
In Canada,
like the
of all
nicest
places.
country ever.
Wow.
Hilarious, man.
Sucks.
All right, well, hopefully we'll be talking to you again as we get closer to your match with Junior Dos Santos. Have a great time in Las Vegas next week, and thanks again for taking the time to talk to us today, Cain.
Definitely. Thank you, guys.